Now, the trolls have gone into overdrive with their firm belief that non-mother Meg was never pregnant, and the childless Sussexes continue to subject the world to an extraordinary hoax.
There's a reason every royal birth feels almost scripted. The cameras outside the hospital, the excited reporters counting contractions in real time, the proud parents stepping into the flashbulbs with a newborn barely 2 hours old. It's a well-oiled ritual. Until one couple decided to write their own screenplay. In 2019, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex announced the arrival of Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor. But 4 years later, an avalanche of leaks, fact checks, and viral gotcha videos has people asking a question once dismissed as fringe. Where, if anywhere, was Meghan Markle when that baby took his first breath? Last month, a clip rocketed across TikTok claiming London's private Portland hospital, Meghan's reported delivery spot, had no record of her admission. The video showed shaky screenshots of an alleged email from the facility's admin desk, and the creator promised the receipts they don't want you to see. Within hours, #ArchieMystery trended again. Yet a glance at the public record shows Archie's birth certificate, released on 17 May 2019, listing Portland Hospital as the place of birth, signed by Registrar Ms. Una Kroll. So what's happening? Are we staring at a newly exposed cover-up, or at the latest mutation of a rumor that has thrived in the algorithm's dark corners since day one?
Buckle up, because what we're going to go into today is going to be a wild ride, and I'm going to leave it all up to you to decide what is what. Have we found the real father of Lily and Archie, or the real mother?
The only way to find out is to rewind the timeline, compare the paper trail to the internet chatter, and follow every contradiction wherever it leads. Buckingham Palace told the world Meghan went into labor in the early hours of 6 May 2019. A second statement issued barely 40 minutes later declared the baby had already arrived at 5:26 a.m. The mismatch, a labor alert after the birth, looked minor at first, the sort of clerical lag any PR office could make while juggling time zones and royal protocol. But skeptics latched onto the gap as proof something else occurred behind the palace gates. When the certificate emerged 11 days later, it settled some debates. Portland Hospital, birth weight, mother's legal name, Rachel Meghan, Her Royal Highness, yet sparked new ones. Why was no attending physician publicly quoted, the way Kensington Palace had showcased Kate Middleton's obstetrician after each delivery? Why were there zero paparazzi shots capturing Harry and Meghan entering or exiting the maternity wing?
What is going on? Because the documentation and the laws that I'm going to show you pertaining those two children, it raises even more questions than provide answers. And on top of that, it seems that the surrogate for Lily has been located in Colorado.
The absence of imagery in an era that documents celebrities fetching coffee felt uncanny. And in that silence, conspiracy found fertile soil. Mainstream outlets such as ABC News, Town & Country, and Yahoo reiterated the hospital location, effectively dismissing early whisper campaigns about a home birth. Still, the rumor refused to die, because screenshots and anonymous insiders kept supplying fresh fuel, and because the couple themselves never staged the classic hospital steps photo op the British public expects. If you splice every official statement, interview soundbite, and press release into one linear reel, the story jitters. Monday morning labor alert. Monday morning birth. Wednesday hallway photo call at Windsor Castle, with journalists allowed a mere 3 questions before being ushered out. During that brief presser, Harry remarked on how much a baby changes in 2 weeks, a slip that sent sleuths riffling calendars. Had Archie in fact been born in late April? Even royal commentators who dismissed the slip as new dad hyperbole admitted the press choreography felt off.
Worse are the persistent rumors that she's not a mum and never has been. Just when the difficult Duchess wanted all the talk of her fake baby bumps to fade away, along came a so-called friend to turbocharge the conspiracy theories.
For decades, the monarchy has weaponized transparency. Think Princess Diana's radiant exit from St. Mary's, or Kate's trio of polished step portraits, to cement trust in the line of succession. Harry and Meghan broke tradition to safeguard privacy, but in doing so, they forfeited a piece of credibility the institution normally banks on. In hindsight, every deviation, no long-lens photo of a hospital ambulance, no midwives waving in the doorway, reads less like innovation and more like intentional obfuscation, at least to skeptics hungry for cues. The most viral evidence in the Archie was never in there camp is a collage of Meghan's pregnancy footage. One clip shows her bending to pick up fallen papers. Critics swear the bump flattens, then pops back. Another freeze frames a moment on stage when the belly seems to pivot independently from the rest of her torso. Detractors call it Prosthetic-Gate. Supporters call it bad tailoring meets bad lighting. And obstetricians on Twitter note that fetal position, maternity shapewear, and camera lenses can create optical chaos. The bump montage resurfaces every few months because it's visual, shareable, and ambiguous enough to let confirmation bias bloom. Even Reuters and Snopes have stepped in to debunk doctored screenshots, claiming Kensington Palace announced a surrogate. Yet the platform incentive remains. A shaky cell phone video, dissected frame by frame, racks up far more clicks than a sober PDF of a birth certificate.
I mean, if they're looking at that and think this is clever,
yeah.
I mean, are they stupid or what?
Well, I think
I just think, because it just looks like it's in such poor taste, and yet she thinks that she's a princess.
Enter the DL theory, named after a woman whose initials allegedly belong to a surrogate willing to tell all. YouTube channels with ominous thumbnails trumpet her as the real mother of Archie. Meanwhile, tabloids quote royal biographer Lady Colin Campbell, urging transparency, arguing that royal status requires the child be born of the body of the listed mother. So what does the rulebook actually say? British succession law is silent on surrogacy because, until recently, no royal ever needed it. Constitutional scholars explain that if Meghan had used a surrogate but publicly acknowledged it, Parliament could simply issue a clarification. Fuss, yes, but fatal crisis, no. The potential scandal lies not in surrogacy itself, but in a hypothetical cover-up. Passing off a surrogate birth as natural would, in theory, violate both the Registration of Births and Deaths Act and the internal protocols used to verify a royal heir. Complicating matters, UK statutes bind birth certificates to the woman who gives birth, not the genetic mother, meaning a secret overseas surrogate would necessitate legal sleight of hand to file British paperwork. That sleight of hand is precisely what internet detectives believe they've uncovered, though after 6 years, not one first-hand witness, medical staffer, or leaked document has surfaced to corroborate the theory. Skeptics counter that non-disclosure agreements and sealed court orders could keep a lid on everything, citing Hollywood precedents. But the longer proof fails to materialize, the more the allegation loops within its own echo chamber. Harry and Meghan's comms strategy, minimal statements, carefully curated long-form interviews, worked brilliantly when the narrative was palace versus pair. But the tactic backfires against crowdsourced intrigue. Every unanswered question metastasizes into 5 TikTok threads. Silence reads like guilt to audiences binge-trained on daily hot takes.
And has the right almost to be HRH, although officially...
Meghan Markle in allegedly a labor and delivery room with her loser of a husband, pregnant and twerking to allegedly induce labor.
When Oprah with Meghan and Harry aired in 2021, the Duchess spoke candidly about mental health and racism, but sidestepped birth logistics. Loyal fans argued the details were nobody's business. Critics saw the omission as proof she feared perjury on live television. The harder Sussex PR pushes themes of living authentic lives in California. The more any lingering discrepancy about Archie's origin sticks out like a scratched record during a TED Talk on honesty. Meanwhile, palace aides maintain the stiff upper lip of tradition. No comment ever. That neutrality might shield the crown legally, yet it also starves the story of authoritative fact checks, leaving YouTubers and subreddit moderators to play forensic accountant with cached web pages and blurry security cam stills. Why does any of this matter? Because monarchy trades on legitimacy as surely as banks trade on liquidity. The crown survived abdication, divorces, and Netflix dramas, but it survives because the line of succession is certain. If large numbers of citizens began to doubt that a sixth-in-line child meets the arcane orn-of-the-body criterion, Parliament would face public pressure to investigate. Lawyers have already floated doomsday hypotheticals, from suspending Archie's HRH style to requiring DNA confirmation, though no bill has ever been tabled. Behind closed doors, courtiers worry less about legal chaos and more about optics. Imagine headlines screaming royal DNA test beside glossy estate photos.
Their latest Let's Have Our Privacy exhibit, Exhibit A, would appear to be a rather interesting video, which I'm going to show you now. This is Harry and Meghan dancing in a maternity ward.
The damage to global soft power could dwarf any constitutional snafu. Institutions over a millennium old don't fear facts. They fear the perception of impropriety, because perception can be monarchic kryptonite. So, after 6 years of screenshots, certificates, and clashing narratives, what do we know? Documented facts. 1. Archie's birth certificate exists, lists Portland Hospital, and is publicly archived. 2. Buckingham Palace issued a contemporaneous statement confirming time of birth. Unverified claims. Portland staff denied Meghan's admission. No mainstream outlet has authenticated the email. A surrogate named Dial has surfaced. No corroborating legal or medical proof. Palace is demanding DNA tests. Only tabloid and YouTube sources repeat this. Contextual realities. Surrogacy, if declared, would complicate but not automatically nullify succession. Secrecy, however, could incite a parliamentary review. Algorithmic incentives reward sensational angles, so rumors outperform corrections. In short, we're staring at a hall of mirrors where one verified document competes with 1,000 speculative pixels. That doesn't mean questions are baseless. It means evidence must outpace emotion if the truth is ever to leave the comment section. The digital age never grants final chapters. Tomorrow, another insider could leak hospital CCTV, or a reputable paper could publish an exposé disproving every claim in one stroke. Until then, Archie's birth story remains a tug-of-war between documented fact and viral myth, each pulling harder every time the other side gains an inch. So, viewer, ask yourself, what would convince you? A notarized hospital ledger? A televised DNA test? Or would the goalposts simply slide again? Drop your take below, subscribe for the next deep dive, and remember, when silence grows loud enough, even palaces have to answer. Because in a kingdom built on legacy, the biggest threat isn't a rumor going viral, it's a question that refuses to die.